Hello Internet! In this video, I wanted to do something I saw on the coding train the other day, but I wanted to do it in Python. And this is basically take an image, so this image here, and translate it into Ascii text. So I thought this was going to be a lot harder than it probably would be. So I saw it online, someone did it in JavaScript. I'll put that link in the description if you want to watch that, 'cause it's probably going to be a way better video than this. But I want to do this in Python, so let's make a start. So the first thing we need to actually do is install something called Pillow, and we're going to use that to do some cheeky little stuff in terms of loading the image. So what I think we need to do is we need to probably just create a class. We'll just call it something like Ascii image or something like that, and we'll just say def under init self, and then what do we want to give it? Well, we probably want to give it a path of the image so it can load that when it wants to. And we'll also give it something called density, which will be the characters that we care about. So we need to do self.path is equal to path. There's no semicolons, moron. And then if we do self.density is equal to density. Oh, now it works. Brilliant. Cool. And then if we also want to get the length of that density, so that density is going to be a string of characters which we need to define. We'll just say density len, and then we'll just do len built-in function and pass in density. Cool. And then we'll give it a print function. So that just takes that, and for the time being, that's just going to print pip pow. Okay, so if we just have a goosey gander at this, we'll do something like where's the path? So the path is something like path is equal to here, and it's called self.jpg. Density, we'll define it as a constant up here for the time being. So this will be a series of strings which have density essentially. So we're going to have ones that are thick at the. We're going to have ones that are sort of more dense at one end of the string and less dense at the other end of the string. So for example, a dense string would be something like that. A less dense one would be a spot and then a space. We'll use more characters than that, but we'll just use those for now. So what I want to do is I want to say something like I is equal to Ascii image, and then we'll pass it in the path, and we'll pass it in that density string, and then we'll just call .print on it to see what happens. Cool. So that prints. Okay, cool. So we've got the sort of rough structure. We've got a class. We'll probably change these density strings, but let's just think about what we need to do now. So what we need to do first is when we call this print command, we probably need to actually get the image. So the way you can do this, we need to import some stuff. So we need to import from pill, we need to import image with a capital I. It's really annoying if you put a lowercase I and you're like, why is it not working? That'll be why. So if we do image open, and then you want to do self.path, and then we want to get the RGB values. So that'll be convert RGB, and then for me, I've always found that the image when I was playing around with this always comes in at the wrong angle. So I'm going to add rotate 90. Now I would suggest you just have a look at what your image does, because for some reason mine always came in the wrong way around. But there we go. So that will rotate it. Now what that's given us essentially, we can check. So this will be, I think, just an object should be an object. I've spelled RGB wrong. Okay, that should work. Yep, okay, so that's just an object. But we have in there, we should have the pixels if we call load, I think. So if I was to call .load, I think that gives you back the pixels. Okay, so it gives us back the pixel access object, which we can then iterate over, I believe. Yes, we can. Okay, so let's... we need to get the x and y, so the size of the image, so we can iterate over those pixels. And the way you do that is just do x, y, and just do image size like that. And then let's say for I in range x, for j in range y, we'll print. We need to get the pixels in a variable, don't we? Obviously, otherwise we can't do that. So we do pixels is image load, and then if we do pixels, now this is weird. This pixel object, you don't do like I j like that. You do I comma j. It's a bit weird. So we do that, and we'll see what it prints. It should print out like a list of RGB values. Okay, so this is printing out all the RGB values for this image. Now, the image that I've shown you is mostly uniform, it's mostly orange. So what you've got here is RGB, so red values, green values and blue values. So these are in a range of 0 to 255. And basically, each one of these numbers tells you how intense that channel is. So in this case, we've got quite a lot of red, we've got quite a bit of green, and we've got quite not so much blue. So what we can do is we can use those values to figure out where in this list of density string do we want to use things. So the first thing you have to do is we need to get the sort of mean value for all of the pixels. So all three of them we need to get the mean. So let's just define a cheeky little method. Just gets the mean. We'll call it self, and we'll do what should we do? Shall we pass in the pixels object? Yeah, just pass in that pixel that we've got given, and we'll do something like return. What will it be? It'll be pixel y. Can't remember what I need to do. Oh yes, because it's not r, is it? So what we need to do is we need to say something like r is equal to pixel pixel 0, and then g is equal to that, and then b is equal to that, and then we just do return r plus g plus b divided by tree, gives us the mean. And that should be all good. So once we've got the mean, which we should have now, so if we were to just do, I don't know, mean, do we get the mean? I'll ball something up. Oh, there we are. I think that printed something. What did that print? Mean is not defined. Self dot mean. Okay, cool. So now we've got that, we need to take, obviously those numbers we were getting were like way higher than, say, in this case 0 to 2, because 0, 1, 2. So we need to basically remap the range. So the 0 to 255 needs to be remapped to the range, in this case 0 to whatever this length is, which is at the moment 3 or 2 actually. So we need to define a remap function, and this is relatively simple. So what we need to do for the remap function, give it self again, we need to give it the number we've got, which is n, start 1, stop 2, start 1, start 2, and stop 2. So essentially it's going to be whatever number we get given. So let's say in those numbers we saw in there were 144, for example. The next is going to be 0, and then it's going to be 255 because that's the end of the hour range, and then the new range is going to be this one over here. So what we need to do is we need to return. Oh, we're going to need to import math, I think, for this because we need to use the floor function. So we need to do import math floor, because if you saw that we had decimal points in there. Do we need it at this point actually? No, let's maybe we don't need. No, let's just ignore it for now. We'll do it like this. So we need to do. How do I start 1? So we take the start value from this and divide it by the stop minus the start, and then we need to take the whole thing and I need that one there. And do the same. Well, do a similar thing for the stop. So you do the new range, which is the range that we've got here. Now in this case, that's going to be 0. That's going to be 0. So we don't technically need to do this. It just gives us a bit more flexibility if we change things in the future. Particularly if we invert things. So we do that, and then you want to do plus start, I believe. I think I've probably got that wrong. No, that maybe is okay. So let's do. So let's think about this. So we next need to use this. Why is that moaning? Is it moaning because of line length? Oh, no, it is of much. Okay. Why is that moaning? Do I need another one there? Right, to begin with. Yep, and then that needs to be that. That's why it's moaning. Is it? Yep, 1, 2. Okay, so I had it right the first time, I believe. I think, maybe. No, I do need to have 2 there, obviously, because that will trip it up. Okay, there's the remap. What we need to do now is we need to basically take this new range that we've got, and we need to find the pixel that we're picking out. So we're going to take that hour average that we've got, our remapped average, which will be within this range, and we need to just pick out one of the characters from that string. So we'll call this find car, self, and then all we need to give this is just, we'll start by giving this the mean, and we need to do return math.floor, and we then need to call remap where mean is n, start is 255, and then it's self.density len, that one. Oh, that's actually the index, isn't it? So we'll call this the index instead. So that's going to give me the index. If we then also create one called find car, which is just going to go from this to self.find car index, and we'll give this the mean like that, and we want to wrap this in self.density. So we're going to pick out the character now. Okay, so if I now do this, so we want to do print and then just do, we need to get the mean, don't we? So we want to do self find car self mean pixels I j, and there's one missing. We've run that. Syntax error. Line 22. Okay. Oh, I missed a parentheses. Okay. Still moaning, I think, but let's see. Oh, I've put. Why did I put a comma in there? There we go. Boom. Okay, so that, I don't even know if that's working because I've picked some stupid density characters here. So let's pick some different ones. I looked at some earlier that was something like, what else can we use? Maybe like big O, maybe little o, that maybe. How do you do that one? Dot and a space. Just try that, see what that does. Does that come out with different characters? That comes out with different characters, but obviously what we need to do now is we need to map that all into a nice line. So the way you do that is we'll define a variable just called text, make it a blank string, and then for each row we need to add a new line. So in the end of the I loop we need to say text plus equals cheeky little new line, and then we also need to take, instead of printing this now, we need to just do text plus equals like that, and then at the end of this we can just do the print text. I think that will work. Oh, it looks like it's worked. Okay, cool. So yeah, it looks like it's worked. It's a bit compressed and a bit squashed, but they've certainly taken the image and translated it. So if we did something like took this and just I wonder if we just did let's do find car. Let's just add a space at the end of this, maybe. This might make it better. Yeah, that makes it better. It's quite big. But there we go. That has now worked. So what other improvements could we make to this? Well, another improvement we could make to this is we could give it a path, so we could have arguments. That might be something we want to do. That'd be pretty quick. So you could do from argparse, which is a built-in Python thing, so we don't need to mess about pip installing anything. If we come down here and I do something like parser equals, we need to construct a new argument parser, and then we want to do parser add argument, and we'll say -f or file, like that, and do we want to give alternative characters? I think we probably do. So say cars. What else would we want to do? I think those are probably all the arguments we want. You get help for free if you. So for example, you can provide. You can say like help equals file to convert, and then if you would call your script and say argument -h, it would work. It will give you the help for that. So parse args, and then okay, let's say something like if args file. Now let's just do it like this, and then actually let's just not bother with that. Let's give it a file. Oh no, let's give it the argcars. So now come down here, we'll come out of Vim and clear that and run Python main.py f, and we'll do dot self JPEG, I think it was called, and then .c for cars, and we'll give it some cars to convert it with. So it's like this. Maybe something like that. Yeah, maybe that. Oh, plus won't work. Okay. Text ignore. Test. And that has converted it. You can vaguely see that that sort of worked. So if we instead give it, see if this works. There we go. So now you can give it any characters you want. Okay, cool. I think this is sort of it. That's all I sort of really wanted to do in this video. As I said, a lot easier than I thought. Got this sort of from the coding train originally. Sort of, I saw how he'd done it, and thought I'd do it in Python. So that's pretty cool. All right. Au revoir and arrivederci.